Let's talk Wimbledon now, though. We can speak to someone who knows just what it takes to win at SW19. Britain's last women's champion, Virginia Wade. Virginia, good afternoon to you, or I should say probably good morning, just about afternoon your time. You live in the USA at the moment. How have you been enjoying the action so far at Wimbledon, though?
It's been a fantastic tournament. I mean, despite the rain at the beginning, we've had so many dry years, and that was bound to happen sooner or later. But it sort of added to the number of fantastic matches still going on. And it's interesting because, I mean, the tennis is so good. The courts are playing so well. It looks like there's nobody who's going to be able to beat Djokovic and nobody who's going to be able to beat Swiatek. But in a way, they've almost had it a little bit too easy. And that's, you have to wonder sometimes they need a little bit more competition to really be tough for the final rounds. But it's been absolutely spectacular. On the women's side, it's very, very good tennis. And, I was just watching this morning that young Russian, she lives in France now, Mira Andreeva, and she is so good. I mean, she's in, what's she in, the 16s or the quarters or something, and she's 17 barely. So it's all good stuff.
There's some great storylines. Unfortunately, we haven't got many British players to report on now, though, Virginia. In the second week of the singles this year, all the men and all the women are out. How concerning is that for you?
I have to tell you, I'm so disappointed because last year there were all these great young players doing well, and the girls were doing really well in the team events, and there was one after another, and they seemed to be boosting each other. And of course, Raducanu had a blaze of activity behind her, and the young guys as well. And then they seem to, this is always a problem, I think, for the British players. They don't thrive on the clay courts, so they tend to avoid them. And I think the opposite needs to happen. I think they need to knuckle down and go and guts it out on clay, and then the grass and all that is going to be much easier for them. So I have to say I was really concerned this year, and even Norrie didn't play that well. He's been playing so well in the last few years, and he was incredible. I mean, it was miraculous how well he was playing, but that's one of Tsitsipas is finally, that's the best I've seen him play in a long time. So maybe his personal life is helping him on the court as well.
Absolutely, yeah. His girlfriend's been in attendance, hasn't she? Virginia, you mentioned Andy Murray there. He's hinted that maybe he won't continue. He's had this remarkable comeback from injury, hasn't he? But he says that he wants to be able to contend to win slams. Can you see him hanging on for one more Wimbledon, or can you understand his thinking that perhaps it's time to bow out shortly?
No, my feeling is very strong that you shouldn't be, as a tennis player, you shouldn't be persuaded by anybody else to quit when you don't feel like it. If you enjoy playing and you can face losing a few more matches than you'd like to, then I think that's absolutely fine. I think the whole key about playing, in the latter stages of your career is your attitude. So I think you have to make sure that you give the crowds a good show, that you look like you're enjoying it. You don't want to be out there sort of groaning because you're getting past it. So that's really strong in my feeling. So I think he's playing so well. He can play as long as he feels like putting in the time and the work.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope he's listening to that encouraging words. Now, Katie Boulter was beaten by the defending champion. She was the final Brit to fall, wasn't she? Beaten by Elena Rybakina in the singles. How much will she have learned from that? How key is her reaction to that result? She didn't last long, did it? It was only around an hour, the match. Well,
she played two awfully good matches before that. So she's got to take the positive. I mean, maybe, who knows what was going on in her head? Maybe she thought, I'm playing so well, I'm going to do great. And wasn't quite ready for it. I don't think she has enough of the experience of visualizing all the opponents because she hasn't been playing in the top level for that long. And that's one of the most important things you have to do is you have to understand what you're going to get. You have to be able to spend a lot of time just getting it into your head and understanding that you have to be ready for bad, good, indifferent, anything, because no day is exactly the same. So you've got to be, you can't expect to go out and be brilliant because that doesn't always happen. You usually have to start from square one every single day and put in the due diligence.
Yes, I'm sure it's a very exhausting process to win a slam. Iga Swiatek, you mentioned there, the world #1. She's the favourite. Rebecca's the defending champion. Do you think Swiatek will go all the way? She's in action, isn't she, shortly against Belinda Bencic? Because she's not been great at Wimbledon before.
No, but she's playing well this year. She's playing very well. I mean, her matches, she seems to have, you know, this girl is smart. Her concentration is better than anybody's. I mean, I think she's modeled herself on Djokovic a bit, but I think her concentration is even maybe a little bit better than his. And she goes after every single point. Now, she's got a very weird grip on her forehand, but it's an awesome, strong shot. So somebody will have to know how to exploit that. If Rebecca or Sabalenka can beat her, they have to serve like demons. They have to be serving a huge number of big first serves. And they also have to be mixing it up well. So both of those players are capable of beating her, but only if they're playing better and she's a little bit off. If she's on, she's still going to be the favorite. I wouldn't put a big sum of money on that because the other two are very tough as well.
Absolutely. What about the men's then? You mentioned Djokovic being the favourite. Any chance of anyone else winning the men's?
Well, I mean, you know, I happen to like Medvedev, but I don't like the way he's playing much. So I don't see him doing that well. Alcaraz has had a tough draw. He's had to really fight right from the word go. And sometimes that's good and sometimes that's not so good. Sometimes you wear yourself out. Sometimes it makes you really match tough. So those two guys are definitely the favorite contenders. Djokovic, maybe he's had a little bit too easy so far. He's super confident, that is for sure, and he's a super good player. So I'm excited. I mean, it's not 100% for sure, although I think most people would say it is 100% for sure.
Yeah, but be a challenge.
There's just enough good competition out there.
Going to be a challenge to beat him. Virginia Wade, really appreciate your time dialing in from New York as well. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.